Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We're going to focus on the 1944 Mercury Dime for this video, but we're also going to talk about some of the most expensive coins from 1944. And those of you who know the 1944 coins know that there's a $50 from 1944 that looks a lot better than this, of course. And you can see the 1944 down there that's worth $109,000. The 1944 Philadelphia $50, and it has the Walking Liberty on it, holding the kind of floral arrangement with the sun coming up. It's a 90% silver $50, and there's the eagle on the back. This one is an S. The one that's real expensive is a Philly. Auction record, $109,250 in 2010. And then some of you might say, well, what about that penny from 1944, the 1944 steel penny mistake? They carried the zinc-coated steel penny over from 1943, and in 1944 they made it by mistake in a couple places, and that goes for $185,000. PCGS says there are 4 of those steel-coated pennies that they've graded so far at a mint state 64. And then you might say, well, what about the nickel? That's the year they had the silver nickels in 1944. So here's one of those silver nickels, and they often don't look that great up front. If they do, they might have been polished, so be careful. It says E pluribus unum. There's a P on the back. Philadelphia did have a mint mark on the nickel in 1944. In fact, from 1942 to 1945, Philadelphia mint marks on the back of the nickel. They had a P, a D, and an S for all the mints here. And the reason that they put the P on the nickel was to differentiate it from a non-silver nickel. So the Philadelphia nickels from 1944 were 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. And one of those is sold for $22,325 in 2012. And then, of course, they had the quarter. 1944, the quarter had been around for a little while. Came out in 1932, the Washington quarter, Washington facing to the left. This is a really worn out one. But the Washington quarter from 1944 has sold for as much as $16,800 at a mint state 68 level. And then finally they had some real expensive dollars from 1944. They used them in 1944, but none were made in 1944. And you can find these peace dollars with Liberty on the front. You can't find a year 1944, but this was still used in 1944. And then you go onto the back of it, and down here it says peace, and you can find these for the tens of thousands of dollars. But what about our dimes from 1944? Well, this one right here, very, very nice condition. This is called the Mercury Dime, but it's really Lady Liberty wearing the same kind of hat or cap that the Roman god Mercury wore. It's called the Phrygian cap. It has a wing on each side. It symbolizes freedom of thought. Down here it says, "In God We Trust." Over here, 1944. Right down there is not the mint mark. That's an A, an A, and a W for Adolf A. Weinman, who engraved this coin. We flip it up and we see it's a 90% silver coin. And then we get to the back and we see that there is this Roman war implement called a fasces on there. United States of America at the top, 1 dime here, E pluribus unum. And what you want to do is you want to have the full lines on the back of this going across. There's 2 bands there, 2 bands here, and 2 bands here. And we don't have those full lines, but we can kind of see where the bands separate. If you can get the full lines from Philadelphia, and how do you tell it's Philadelphia? No mint mark here means Philadelphia, and that's where the mint mark would be right there. They have a mint state 68 full bands for $12,500. They found 9 of them so far. They also made this at 2 other mints. They made it at the Denver Mint, which will have the D here. The Denver Mint, they made $62.2 million. The auction record is $5,280 for mint state 68 plus. Currently, PCGS has graded 11 mint state 68 pluses, and they say it's worth around $4,500. And of course, I didn't tell you the numbers that they made at the Philadelphia Mint, but at Philly, they made $231 million compared to the $62 million at Denver. And then finally, they made this coin also at the San Francisco Mint. And for the San Francisco Mint, you tip it over and you see the S here. And this is a great S, kind of a top-heavy S with a small bottom on it. At the San Francisco Mint, they made $49.5 million. The auction record is $11,750 in 2013. But PCGS says a Mint State 68 Plus out there right now that's worth $20,000. They've only found one of the 1944S Mint State 68 Pluses, but 20,000. So don't sleep on these dimes because they're still worth a lot. You could get 20,000 for San Francisco. You could get 4,500 for a Denver. And in fact, if you do get a Denver, make sure you look at the back, like right here, because there are some D over Ds or double Ds repunched mint marks on the Denvers. The repunched mint marks can go for almost $1,000. So always check on a 1944 whether you have a repunched mint mark. And then at the Philadelphia Mint, they are worth up to $12,500. Well, that's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you have in the comment section.